Hello and welcome to the last part of Southern Union EMS's Toxicology lecture series. This is part 8, and we're going to discuss poisonous plants and food poisoning. Only a few plants are poisonous. Approximately 65% of exposures involve children aged 5 years or younger. Deaths from poisonous plants are rare, and ingestion usually results in very minimal symptoms. So I guess you're wondering, well, why in the world are we talking about this then? Because there are a few that can cause some issues, such as the Diamphinbacia. All parts contain sharp calcium oxalate crystals. It's a green plant with broad, variegated leaves. When ingested, these may cause burns to the mouth and tongue, paralysis of the vocal cords, and edema of the tongue and larynx, leading to airway compromise. The Caladium plant, it also contains calcium oxalate crystals. You'll note it by its multicolored leaves, but it produces the same results as the previous mentioned plant. Azaleas and rhododendrons. Azaleas and rhododendrons have a similar mechanism of toxicity based on gray antitoxins that are present in the plants. Cholinergic symptoms with ingestion of the leaves or flowers of the plants, as well as the nectar of honey made by the bees that feed on them. Lantana, also known as red sage or wild sage, is a perennial flowering shrub with clusters of little red berries. The berries contain lanthanidin A, which can cause GI upset, muscle weakness, shock, and death. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I know that I'm recording right now, but I can't really understand how an adult is going to want to just eat some azaleas and lantana. So it kind of sense that maybe it's with the kids, but even my kids who are very young, they know not to go just eating flowers. So I don't know. Take that as you will. Castor beans. Castor beans. Chewing on just a few seeds can kill a child. Contains ricin, which causes a variety of toxic effects: burning of the mouth and throat, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, severe stomach pains, prostration, failing vision, and kidney failure. Foxglove contains cardiac glycosides. This is the plant in which digoxin is derived from. Has trumpet-like flowers. Symptoms of ingestion include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, hyperkalemia, and also cardiac dysrhythmias. Also kind of wonder who was walking by these flowers one day and they were like, hey, those are very beautiful. I bet they'll cure atrial fibrillation. Medicine is very unique. So your poisonous plants, your assessment is going to be essentially the same with any poisoning. When was it ingested? What exactly did they eat? What signs and symptoms does the patient have? Try not to hold back your exasperation when they told you they ate an azalea bush. Most exposure requires no treatment. Contact the Poison Center Med Control. A child who is symptomatic should be evaluated in the ED. Most poisonings produce signs and symptoms of toxicity within 4 hours. Castor beans, however, sometimes may take up to 1 to 3 days. Poisonous mushrooms. The effects of it is going to depend on what type of mushroom it is, how old it is, what season it's gathered, amount ingested, how they were prepared. Groups who are most likely to be victims of mushroom poisoning: wild mushroom pickers, people looking for hallucinogenic mushrooms, people attempting suicide or homicide, and young children who eat them by accident. Ingestion usually results in limited or no toxic effects. In the United States, many deaths involve the Amanita species of mushroom. Time of onset can serve as a predictor of potential severity. Within 2 hours is typically non-life-threatening. If it's 6 hours or later of mushroom ingestion, it very well may be fatal. Management mainly supportive. Administer activated charcoal if instructed to. Try to keep them alive and get them to the hospital. Food poisoning. The thing with food poisoning is that you just don't want to catch the bug depending on what it is that they are experiencing. When you encounter two or more people sick at the same time and at the same scene, think food poisoning or carbon monoxide poisoning. There's several different toxins that produce food-related deaths, including salmonella, listeria, and toxoplasma. Also, poisoning with Clostridium botulinum is usually the result of improper food storage or canning. Toxins produced by dinoflagellates in the red tides may contaminate bivalve shellfish, and cooking of these bivalve shellfish does not kill these toxins. Onset of signs and symptoms can range from several hours to days or weeks. Treatment is going to be supportive. Try to figure out what they've been exposed to or what they've eaten. You may consider diphenhydramine for facial flushing. You consider Zofran or whatever your antiemetic is for your treatment. So this concludes the very long toxicology lecture. Thank you so much for attending. If you ever need to contact me, my email is nickray@suscc.edu.